third-year psychology student studying at one of the best universities in my country. 18 months ago, I was struggling to pass. Last month, I won an academic award. I combined and condensed the hard lessons, so what took me a year could take you weeks, just by following this 10-step process that actually has nothing to do with study techniques. This lesson is going to be split into 3 parts. 1. Mentally prepare. 2. Physically prepare. And 3. Lock in. Part 1. Mentally prepare. Point 1. Watch your circle. You can't grow a new plant in the same shit soil. You have to get rid of people who are going to bring you down. I've said it before and I will say it again. The people bring you down don't always want you to fail. They just don't want to push themselves and they don't want to be alone in that spot. You should surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. Aim to be the dumbest person in the room because that's how you learn and that's how you grow. Point 2 is find purpose. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? Do you need these grades or do you want these grades? Are these grades proving to yourself that you can do it and that you are capable of it? Or do you need these grades because otherwise you're not going to get your master's degree, you're not going to be the person that you want to be. Find your purpose. It's important because this is going to sustain your motivation throughout this whole process. Point 3, assess your past obstacles. Why haven't you gotten these grades? Why haven't you had this academic comeback? Why are you in this position? Think deep behind the why. This is going to be the foundation of your goals. It's important to figure this out because if you don't figure out what's been stopping you this whole time, you're not going to be able to change that. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of what I mean here. I'm not made for uni. Why? Because it's too hard. Why? Because I always fail. Why? I don't try. Why? Usually because trying means taking accountability for your shitty grades. And that hurts your ego. Point 4 is set goals. This is important because we're talking about an academic comeback here. But what even is an academic comeback? Because your idea of an academic comeback and mine may be
entirely different.
Is it getting a really high GPA? Is it not failing? Is it getting an award? Is it people recognizing you for studying? They need to be clear and measurable. You can't just finish the semester and think,
yeah, I think I had an academic comeback.
No. I'm going to give you an example of what I actually did in my last exam block and how I was able to set goals for my exams. So I wrote this out about a week before the first exam, and I did it so that I would be able to see which subjects needed the most attention so that I could overall get good grades across all of my subjects. You can pause here to have a look at it. So I am going to go into detail on one specific subject just to break it down for you. So here we have a closer look at one of my subjects. This was the only subject I had not passed yet, which was because the exam was worth 50%, meaning it was almost impossible for me to walk into the exam already passed. When I wrote this, I was sitting at a 32 out of 50, meaning I was 32% overall. This is because the portfolio, which was worth 12, I had no mark for yet. So, of course, I was assuming that I had 0%, which is why I needed 18 out of 50 on the final to be able to make it to passed, which seemed pretty achievable for me. Now, of course, my goal wasn't to pass, it was to get a 6. A 6 is anything more than 74%. So to obtain the 6, I needed to get 37 out of 50 on the final exam, assuming that I would get 50% on the portfolio, which would mean 12% towards this. I ended up getting 100% on it, and I ended up getting 41 out of 50 on the final exam, which of course means I did not get a 6. I got a 7. And it was planning like this that meant I was able to spend a lot of effort and time studying for this subject specifically, because I knew that my resources would be well spent here in terms of my overall grade. When I was doing the practice exams, I could see what percentage I was getting. Was I hitting those markers or was I not? Part 2 is physically prepare. This is where you get your shit together. With number 1, get organized. You need to have all of your resources for studying in the same place. I don't care if this is in one Word document. I personally use OneNote. I'm actually going to give you an example here. So say you're choosing OneNote as your central storing place, basically. You want assessment details, notes, contact info for your tutors, your faculty, your lecturers, those kind of things. You like your group members, you want a team group members for a group assignment. All of that is going in here. Personally, my OneNote is separated by semester. So I have Sem 1, and then it goes my subjects. And I also have general. General, you're going to have things like your course coordinators, your timetable, other commitments. We're going to put your general planning. I'll have things in there like a list of all my assessment dates. And then in each subject, I have assessment 1 and so on, right? There'll also be general in this one, and that will have the contacts, right? Contact infos for the lecturers and tutors. It's gonna have timetables, key dates, all those type of things. Then after that, how you do your notes depends on you, right? Personally, I do weeks. So I'll do week 1, and that will be the topic, and then so on and so forth. We'll come back to this in part 3. The other point to getting organized is actually you can learn a lot from
Project planning.
I'm going to insert here what I've done in the past. Alrighty, so just quickly, this is the example. I've just got week 7 to week 10 here. I did this last semester. I've got my 4 courses, their main assessments, and then obviously the end of the box represents the deadline for each. I've broken it down into parts until I get to submission, and then I spread that across the weeks that I had until it was due. I did this because I have a habit of just doing this whole thing and getting to that deadline, and then this whole thing next, and then this whole thing next, instead of spreading them evenly across the time that I had. Point 2 is going to be dopamine stacking. The secret to getting addicted to studying is that study must be the most stimulating thing you do in a day. If you want to get addicted to it, if you want to love studying, it's going to be the most rewarding thing for your brain. The second you wake up and you go on reels, you have a really sugary breakfast, you drink coffee, that is stimulating your brain so much, and your brain is getting all of these quick bursts of dopamine that you sit down and you go to study. I wouldn't blame you for being bored. Your day should slowly go like this in dopamine, right? If your day goes like this, right? Say you get on reels right here, your day's like this. And then you have a really sugary breakfast and it's like this. And then maybe you go on reels again, or you have coffee. Those kind of things are spiking your dopamine. And then when it comes to study, boom. Dopamine, way down. Study is just not interesting. It's not fun. You're not going to want to do it. Your brain isn't going to be turned on because your brain is thinking about this lovely dopamine right here. That's all it wants. That's exactly when you're going to get back on reels, back on TikTok, whatever it is that you do. That you want study to be these points here. That's going to give you intrinsic motivation. When you get that question right, when you finish that set of questions, you finish that lecture, that is so rewarding to your brain. And it's building that sense of achievement that's important, because that achievement builds motivation. Then maybe we're getting to, say, 8 p.m., right? You've finished all of your classes for the day. I've done this. This is how I quit my phone. This is how I study all day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay? You get to 8 p.m., you've done a full day of study.
You're absolutely knackered.
Personally, I get on the train home. Sometimes that train comes at 7 p.m. And then you get to go on Reels. And you can have your dopamine like this, or whatever it is that you like to do. That doesn't matter, because this is what's important. Because in this time is study. I would personally recommend not doing anything so stimulating, like your phone, for example, until at least after midday, or until at least after your main classes. This is an especially important point for neurodivergent people, specifically people with ADHD. You need to understand this, otherwise you're not going to be able to lock in for more than, 10 minutes. The secret to being productive is to understand how your brain works and manipulate it to get what you want. The other common thing that I think is advice, especially for people with ADHD, is to reward yourself for doing hard tasks. In theory, that sounds like a great idea, but if you're doing that, you say, okay, I'm gonna read 10 pages and I'll let myself scroll on Reels. This is what you're doing. Study, which sits here, is going to be so exhausting, so horrible, and like I said before, you're only going to be thinking about these peaks. You want this, so why are you going to be paying attention to anything that's happening here and here?
You're not?
That's okay. I think that's human. That's not your fault. But now you know this, I think it would be your fault if you were to continue these habits. Just saying. Part 3 is lock in. Part 1 of this is exams and assignments. We're going to go back to this assessment tab that I was talking about before. In wherever you keep that, I don't care where it is, but make sure it's all going into the same place. When you're in lectures, you're watching them, every so often the lecturer has a slide pop up and it's some kind of details about your assessment. Take a screenshot and put it in there.
I don't care.
If you think,
Oh, I'll just go back to that.
no, you're not,
You're not going back to that.
put it in there. It takes you like 3 seconds. A wise man who was running ADHD coaching at my university said that you are going to do it the night before. You just need to accept that. Your role is to help that version of you who's going to be doing it the night before. The other point is to do your assignment as you go. Even if it's 3 sentences, please just do something, anything. Exams. You need to study in matched conditions. You, here, studying with music, but when you get into the exam hall, you're gonna have music? Why? You will get better results if your testing conditions match your study conditions. It's painful to study without music.
But you know what else is painful? Failing.
Be so for real.
Point 2 is to romanticize everything. I've had people ask me, how on earth do you romanticize the most random, tedious, boring tasks? Delusion. Delusion. You need to fall in love with the game. Imagine yourself on the other side of this journey. Imagine the kind of person that you wish to be and show up as them every single day. That is romanticizing your life. That is romanticizing study. Romanticize the shit out of this comeback. You just gotta get through it. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do. Remember, what does this mean to you? Why are you doing this?
Who cares if it sounds stupid to someone else?
Okay, they're not getting the A's. You are. Point 3 is ask for help. This is so important. You need to be staying behind after your tutorials. You need to be going to extra classes, extra consultations. Talk to tutors. They want to help you. Talk to your lecturers, okay? Your lecturers are getting paid to talk about their special interest all day, and you think they don't want to answer your questions? It's their job, guys, it's their job. I feel like there's a misconception that when you get to university, you're on your own. That's absolute no. No. Nonsense, that's not true at all. The difference between secondary and tertiary education is that you have to get the help yourself. Nobody is going to say, hey, I noticed you haven't really been at class. Hey, I noticed your grades kind of not the best in that assignment. Like, no. If you want the help, you got to go and get it. You got to put the effort in yourself. I did an assignment that I literally submitted late and still got a high distinction. I went to every single tutorial. I was the last person to leave that tutorial room every single week. I went to the extra consultations. I asked my tutor. She offered to read little parts of my work. It's those things that are going to make the difference. The last point, guys, is be sensitive to yourself. It's a fine line between challenging yourself, pushing yourself, and then burning out. The goal or the solution is to challenge yourself, but not burn out. This is a really hard concept. I've struggled with this. I think a lot of other people struggle with this. The modern day obsession with being on the grind, it all contributes to this. If I'm not absolutely exhausted, I'm not doing enough. How you can prevent this is to say, burnout, what is it? What does it mean to you? What are the signs? Are you mad easily? Do you not sleep? Do you look tired, even if you're sleeping? Are other people around you saying, hey, listen, dude, I think you're going too far? Or, hey, I'm just a bit worried. You kind of seem like you're out of it. Because if you don't watch this, your grades are going to slip. You're going to get to exams and you're not going to perform well. With the challenging yourself, this means don't take excuses. Okay, don't take a no for an answer. You can tell the difference between begging yourself for understanding or some mercy compared to just making excuses. You know, wake up and say, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to uni. Okay? You probably wouldn't go to uni if you could just get your degree and get your dream job without doing anything or lifting a finger. Of course you don't want to go to uni sometimes. Whatever, get up, go to uni. That's different from being sick as a dog, laying in bed, like you can barely get up, and you're going, no, I have to go to uni, when you really shouldn't be going to uni. You should be resting. When you find yourself burning out and thinking, I don't want to challenge myself anymore, I'm just tired, I'm just over this, come back to your purpose. Remember part 1. That's what I say when I mean without all 3 parts, you're not going to be able to get through this, okay? Because that part 1 is stopping you from relapsing back into those old habits and producing the same outcomes. What you're not changing, you're choosing. You don't want to choose this life for yourself anymore. You don't want to fail. You have the power to change it, change it. If you see yourself going past your goals, go for it. Go for it. But don't absolutely punish yourself if you're not getting there. And that's what I mean by being realistic. The last thing I just want to go through is what to do when you say, I'm giving up. Remember your purpose. Okay? What does this academic comeback mean to you? Who are you doing it for? Is it a need or a want? Those questions. Okay? If you're doing it for your parents to make them proud, imagine their reactions when you tell them how well you're doing. Alternatively, you may need to alter your goals. If you're aiming up here and you realize you're not really going to get there, does that mean you go back down here where you started? No. Okay? If you get to here and you realize you're stuck here, bam. That's your new place, okay? That's your new goal. Because this to this is a lot easier than this to this. You're all good. You're going to be okay. This is not failure. This is not failure. Anything above this point is not failure. that's improvement. And it's okay if you come from this and then you fall a little bit in a different assessment. Or it's okay. This is a journey, okay? It's like this. Even if it's like this, but it's like this. Okay? This academic comeback is about defining what it means for you. Why do you want it? How are you going to get it? And showing up for yourself every single day. If it's by a lot or if it's by a little. Keep showing up. Keep doing what matters. Keep on track. Hold yourself accountable. Get other people to hold you accountable. Whatever you need to do, get it done. Get this. If this is what you want, go and get it. You may have not passed the subject, and that means you have to retake it. So what? It adds another 6 months onto your degree. You're still getting that degree. Because you're not giving up, you're showing up for yourself, and you're gonna get there no matter what it takes. Anyways, I appreciate you watching this. I really hope you got something out of it. If you have questions or comments, leave them down below. I will answer them. Share this video with people that you want to lock in with. Save it. Take screenshots anywhere in the video. Whatever you need to do. I really hope this helped, and I wish you only the best on your academic journey.